A very good morning to everyone. Thanks very much for being here this morning. Slight apologies on the technical hiccup, but welcome to the CREST Asia Strategic Update for 2023. So my name is Cecil. I'm part of the CREST Asia Council member and also director for BDO at the which is a CREST member firm, and we're actually CREST is very delighted to be the co-organizer for SynCon with SynCon Reloaded and to show our continued support to the Singapore cybersecurity industry. So basically my aim today or goal is to update you on some of the CREST initiatives and its plans for 2023 and beyond. Right. So let me first begin by thanking the team behind SynCon Reloaded, right? Because we jointly organized them and our fellow co-organizers in the Div0 community, the conference organizers, the event supporters, right? And also to you for attending. So CREST basically has a growing community of members in Singapore, and we are delighted to support countries that are actually growing their cybersecurity industry. So not just in Singapore, but around the region, right? So shall I actually do a recap? I think this one on who is CREST, but actually I think I trust my fellow compadre Benjamin Harris. Yesterday he actually did one yesterday in his keynote. But maybe I just stress some of the stuff that we've come this far, right? Established in 2006, right? We are growing. We have close to around 300 CREST accredited member companies around the world, right? Not just right in this region, but obviously it's concentrated around the world now, right? And it operates across 7 different focus areas. So that means to say that things like penetration testing, armed assessments, incident response, threat intelligence, security operation centers, and now we have something called OVS, which I'll cover just a little bit later on, and intelligence-led testing, right? So we work in partnership with the governments, with regulators, academia, right? Lots of training partners, increasing training partners, professional bodies, and other stakeholders, right? Why we work with training partners? Because there's an increasing need for lots of advanced training, right? So we have regional chapters as well, covering the 5 regions, namely the Americas, the Australasia, UK, EMEA, and Asia, right? And our members actually undergo a rigorous quality assurance process, and they employ competent professionals. So that's the thing that we want to drive at, right? When we talk and when I talk later on about some of this, especially on the skilled person register, right? Right. So I guess like any decent professional organization, right? We do have our own charter and goals. So this is translated to the vision and mission for CREST, our intent and purpose. So vision, obviously, is to raise standards in the digital trust in the digital world, right? And our mission is essentially that we would like to focus on 4 key pillars, 4 core values, namely the 4 C's, not the 5 C's, but the 4 C's, right? Which I'll get into a little bit more later. And these 4 C's basically meant support services that nurture, measure, and enhance the skill sets and individuals and organizations, right? So the first C, right, for capability, right? When we say capabilities in terms of technical cybersecurity organizations and individuals through our accreditations, right, and certification processes. So looking at skills and competency, right? Now in terms of capacity, we work with partners to grow levels of professional competence in cybersecurity, right, and expand the pipeline of talent into the industry that aligns with the industry need, right? That's very important. Right fitting company requirements as well, right? For consistency, right, we ensure that CREST accredited organizations deliver a consistent service to the market and that their employees have been certified as being technically competent, right? And this is where codes of conduct come into play. And in regards to collaboration, right, we work with global community of members, professionals, governments, regulators, and many other stakeholders to leverage our shared knowledge, right, content and capacities, right, basically for the benefit of all, meaning to work in partnership. Right. So just allow me to go through a bit of some of our value propositions, and these are basically 6 of the top values that our members tell us that they actually benefit through their CREST membership, right? So first is in helping their business to grow, right? This is basically meaning to say that they connect you to buyers, right? Buyers of your service, standing out from the crowd, right, with CREST, right, accreditation and certifications. So that means to say that we try to open up new sectors and geographies as well. So secondly, in building up a skilled workforce, right, this is trying to understand the labor market versus your staff, right? So providing access, right, say to the industry leading certifications. We do also advertise vacancies for free on our CREST approved website. Additionally, our plans are also to provide access to free and subsidized training. That's the idea, as well as connection to university networks and partners. Right. Third is to raise your profile, and raising your profile here basically means, say, on the CREST website, it basically showcases your expertise, your activities that you're doing, your events that you're running. Right. Fourth is on operational efficiency. Right. What we mean by this is that we actually try to harmonize international rules. By doing so, we mean that there's more efficient cross-border type of operations and engagements. And this will eventually have a single accreditation and certification model that we hope that can create consistency and efficiency. Fifth, it is in driving up industry standards. All right, standards. So how we do this is by we try to aid to influence policy and drive consistency, because we work with a lot of regulators, supporting the benefits of self-regulation as well, and to retain a free and competitive market. Right. And finally, 6 is on market insight. This is basically to say that we're trying to influence and support, right, thought leadership, which is very important, and to provide access to cutting-edge research, as well as to stay plugged in to regulatory changes, if any. Right. So all our members undergo rigorous audit and accreditation processes, which are meaningful market differentiators, right, that help members to win business and access new markets. Right. And all our members actually, they are featured in our searchable database, connecting them to potential clients as well, and supporting the generation of sales leads. Right, so now maybe allow me to take you through some of our recent strategic updates and how CREST is committed to helping its members grow and develop in 2023 and beyond. Okay, so here are just basically some of the developments you can see on the screen. Right, CREST released in 2022, and we'll continue to develop this for our members in 2023. So first of all, we have a new leadership team in 2022, and that is led by Nick Benson, our CEO, and Roland Johnson, President. We are also now looking inwards at the domestic market, as opposed to just one country's market, for instance. So there's much greater emphasis, right, and increased collaboration with all levels of commercial, government, partners, and academia. There's also the refresh of, in terms of the strategy and goals. And we also launched something called the Defensible Penetration Testing Standard, okay, DPTS, in mid-2022, which is actually a specification that provides recommendations on how penetration tests should be scoped, delivered, and signed off. Okay, so on the same breath, we also launched the OWASP OVS, which is the Open Verification Standard in 2022, which I'll just touch on a bit later on. And similarly, the SPR, or the Skilled Persons Register, which actually has a wider and increasing adoption now, right? Right. So CREST is committed, right, to our members in Singapore, but also across Asia, helping to grow their business and all careers worldwide, right? So just a quick rundown, right? CREST Asia is made up of a council of representatives. Sorry, maybe it's a bit difficult to see, but I'll just read out a bit, right? From across the region. Here are my 9 council colleagues, right? I would like to introduce in the elected roles and responsibilities. So Ben Harris, as you've met him yesterday probably, right, from CREST member company Watchtower. He's representing the penetration testing and vulnerability assessments. Ben is based in Singapore. We have Brito Sidan from CREST member company Schneider Electric in India, focusing on research. Myself from CREST member company BDO, representing academia and research, council, and also based here in Singapore. Faisal Yahya from CREST member company Vantage Point, representing the Indonesian members. Henry Tan from CREST member company SoftShack in Singapore, represents training. We also have Jason Kali, right, from CREST member company PwC in Hong Kong, representing incident response, intelligence-led testing, and also our Hong Kong members. John Lloyd from company Kasaba Security, representing academia and our Malaysian members. Michael Pang from CREST member company Protivity, represents the buying community in Hong Kong. Paul Craig from CREST member company Vantage Point also represents threat intelligence and our Thailand members. And then Ramesh Naidu from CREST member company Vigilant Asia represents Security Operations Center and Malaysian members. And of course, right, many thanks to our CREST Asia staff based here in Singapore, and CREST Asia throughout the region, serving our members. As you know, our host, Emil Tan, who is actually our regional advocate for Asia and also our chairperson. And of course, we have Faye Percival over here, right, our full-time secretariat for Asia, right? And between them, both, they have more than combined 25 years of working experience in the cybersecurity industry, right? So, similarly, we'd like to also thank our industry partners here in Singapore, whom we collaborate closely with. CREST values its Singapore partners, including, but not limited to the following organizations that you see on the screen here, as we collaborate through our local and international leadership teams. So, as you can see that, you know, we're committed to our members across Asia, helping to grow their business and careers. This is also reflected in our new strategy and ambition, right? So from here on this particular screen, you can see that, you know, the evolution of CREST over the years, just to bring you back a bit to history, right? Similar to how an adult butterfly, evolves from pupa to larva, and then stages of CREST growth is quite a journey in and of itself, right? So when CREST first started, it was heavily focused on conducting exams, right? As you can see, and working closely with the UK government on the check scheme and concentrated quite solely in the UK. Subsequently, when it went regional, and that's the version 2, including Singapore as one of the first bases outside of UK, more discrete services have been offered in terms of exams as well as accreditation. So the presence now is a lot more global, with more services that focuses on quality assurance and skilled persons, right? That's the version 3 that we envision. And therefore, our growth and diversification presents new opportunities for every one of us, right? So the next few slides, I will go over a few new programs and initiatives that will launch in 2022, which I'm sure some of you have seen this, and probably some of you have not. And this will continue to be developed in 2023, right? So first off, we have the CREST CDPT, which is the CREST Defensible Penetration Testing. So a CREST Defensible Penetration Testing is provides flexibility built around a minimum set of expectations. So, and that will allow to drive better outcomes for buyers across the globe. So this new CREST guidance provides sort of a best practice framework for penetration testing that tests defensibility and assurance of penetration tester competence. So it will hopefully help organizations that are looking to procure penetration testing services and organizations that deliver penetration testing services, right? So both sides, right? Then the next program we have is on the CREST OVS, which is the CREST Open Verification Standard, right? OWASP verification standard, right? So we're working closely with OWASP. So CREST OVS is basically a new quality assurance standard for the web and mobile security industry. And CREST OVS is aligned to some of you are probably doing it already. The OWASP ASVS, or the Application Security Verification Standards, or the Mobile Application Security Verification Standards, the MASVS. Right? So the standards can be used by mobile and web software architects and developers, right? Seeking to develop secure mobile and web applications, as well as security testers to ensure completeness and consistency of test results. So these are the two key things that we're trying to drive at, right? How do we ensure completeness? How do we ensure consistency? And this is one of the things that we are trying to work with OWASP, the ASVS, MASVS folks on driving this, right? Then we have an inclusive approach to the demonstration of skills and competency. So our members are, hugely diverse. So each investing different levels of professional capacity and capability across different disciplines. So as a result, we recognize that the single standard for accreditation to evolve, and so we have begun this process of moving towards a tiered accreditation framework. And to support this move, we are asking, that all individuals that are responsible for the delivery of an outcome or output for a CREST accredited service to be registered with us. All right, so do look out for more updates, right, on these initiatives, which are actually coming soon for all CREST members, right? There will be the launch of CREST labs with both Hack the Box and immersive labs. There will also be some form of exam refresh, right? Similarly, for training providers, their curated programs will also be refreshed accordingly. For the CREST Asia Industry Association Group launch, if you are already a C-level cybersecurity buyer, please visit our stand later to find out how you could actually be involved. And then there will also be more CREST-led member events across Asia, including Singapore, Hong Kong, and Malaysia, right? So do follow us on the social media platform to find out more on Twitter, on YouTube, and LinkedIn, all right? So with that, I thank you for listening. Please do stop by our stand to hear more about our membership, or do visit our website to find a CREST member company, or email our secretariat team, right, or Faye for more information, right? So thank you very much.